How you invest your money matters. And I'm not even talking about your specific investment choices, whether you're for index funds or stocks or crypto or real estate. Instead, we're going to talk about the prioritization and the optimal order of where you should hold those specific investments in order to best set yourself up for financial success and minimize the amount of tax you pay along the way. So let's take a closer look at which accounts you should prioritize for the optimal order of investing your money. But first, we got to cover some personal finance 101. First and foremost, right off the bat, another thing you're going to absolutely need is an emergency fund. Before you can invest a dime in the stock market, you need a cash buffer. It's boring to talk about, but it is important. Even if you're one of those people that think you can get by without it. An emergency fund is just protection against the unknown. I ride my bike all the time. I've never crashed. Hopefully I never will. But I still wear a helmet every time I go out for a ride because I don't want to split my head open if the improbable and unexpected does happen. That's what an emergency fund is. It's a safety net that'll prevent one bad thing from snowballing into a much, much larger bad thing. Next thing you got to cover right off the bat is investing in your 401k up to the amount your employer matches. 17% of all Americans don't contribute enough into their 401k or 403b or whatever have you, enough to get their employer match. Would you ever call up your boss and say, "Hey boss, I don't really want 5% of my salary. You can keep it. Thanks." Obviously not, right? Because that's ridiculous. Well, that's what your 401k match is. It's considered part of your total compensation at your job and is literally free money. For instance, my company has a 401k match that's actually below average. They match my contributions dollar for dollar up to 3% of my total salary. If I took a large pay cut and only made $100,000 per year, that's $3,000 per year available to me for free for doing nothing but contributing towards my retirement. Even if the amount you're going to get from your 401k match doesn't seem like a worthwhile amount, it's important because it will get that investment snowball rolling that much faster and really adds up over time. Okay, so those are the two absolute bare minimum things that I would hope any of you sitting there watching this channel are already doing. And this next step is where I gotta check my notes, differ from everyone else in the finance world. And that's because I think the next step you should be taking with your money after the emergency fund and 401k match is contributing at least 15% of your salary to your 401k. Contributing up to the match in your 401k is the bare minimum. A friend of mine back in college used to say every time he got a test or assignment back, D stands for diploma. And if that's how you want to approach your money, that's fine. But
fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
And just about everyone out there talking about personal finance is going to tell you that after you contribute up to the match in your 401k, you should go and max out your Roth IRA. And if you're someone that's young and at the start of your career, or you don't make a whole lot of money yet, that's probably great advice. But if you find yourself in the 22 to 24% income bracket or higher, as many of my viewers probably are, I think that contributing at least 15% first to your 401k is the right move. And that's because A, you're probably not going to be able to retire if you're only contributing 3 or 4% to your 401k to get the employer match. Saving 15% at least sets you up where you'll have an amount that you should be able to retire on. It also puts it all on autopilot since it comes directly out of your paycheck before you even ever see it. Many of you are going to say, well, what if my tax bracket in retirement is higher than what it is today? That's a common argument for going Roth IRA first. And I think that for most of us, that's near impossible because the only way that your tax bracket in retirement is going to be higher than what it is in your working years is if you end up spending more money in retirement than you're making during the years that you're working. But unless you're some kind of genius investing savant, the only way you're going to have the money in retirement to do that is if you're earning and investing a lot of money today. Now, this next step isn't one that's available to everybody, but if it's an option for you, I really think you have to be taking advantage of it next. And that's the HSA, or Health Savings Account. The HSA is one of the few bright spots we have available to us in our hellscape of a healthcare system that we have here in the United States. To have an HSA, you need to be covered under a high deductible health plan, which isn't the right plan for everybody. But if you have one and do have a health savings account, there are a few big advantages. First, it allows you to build up and invest for future medical expenses. So even if you don't need a lot of money for medical bills now, it's always there for you in the future. But the real reason I have it so high on the list of the optimal order of accounts to invest in is that the HSA is what they like to say is triple tax advantaged. Money goes into your HSA pre-tax, just like a 401k, or it grows tax-free, and when you go to use it, as long as you use it on medical expenses, you can spend that money tax-free. And in 2023, if just you yourself is covered under your healthcare plan, you can contribute $3,850 to your HSA. Or if you're covering your whole family, you can contribute $7,750 pre-tax to your HSA. So again, you're lowering your taxable income this year by those amounts. Medical costs and hospital bills are the #1 cause of bankruptcies in the United States. So having an HSA, an investment account that you can contribute to and will grow year after year into a safety net against unexpected medical expenses, is a real key account to have in your corner. Another great benefit of having an HSA is that once you hit age 65, it essentially becomes another IRA, meaning that at that age, you can start to use the money in your HSA for anything you want without having to pay any of the penalties. You will have to pay tax in that situation, and age 65 and up is where a lot of people start to see their medical expenses, medical bills start to increase as they age. So I wouldn't automatically go on a spending spree with your HSA money at that age, but it's nice to know that once you hit that point, it can be used for other things if you need it. I really struggled on which step to include next, but I decided I didn't want to ruffle too many more feathers. I only have so much time in the day to answer angry comments on my videos. So the next step to optimizing your money is to then max out your Roth IRA if you're eligible. The Roth IRA is an extremely powerful account that you should take advantage of, especially if you're a younger investor or if you're in a lower tax bracket, because the Roth IRA takes your after-tax money and allows you to invest it tax-free for your retirement. For 2023, if you're a single filer, as long as you make under $138,000 or $218,000 for married couples, you can contribute $6,500 into your Roth IRA. And if you contribute $6,500 into your Roth IRA every year for your 30-year career, you'll end up with just about $657,000 at your retirement that you can withdraw and spend totally tax-free. Keep in mind, those limits go up every couple of years. So if you keep up with the changes and continue to max out your Roth IRA over the years, there's a really great likelihood that that balance will be even larger. You also have more control over your IRA than you do your 401k, because you get to choose whatever brokerage you want to invest it at and exactly whatever investment you want to invest it in. I recommend M1 Finance and a solid index fund portfolio, but your choices are your own. So now at this point, if you have covered all the steps, you've got a solid emergency fund, you're contributing 15% to your 401k, you're contributing to the HSA if you have one, you're maxing out your Roth IRA, give yourself a pat on the back, give yourself a round of applause, because you are so far ahead of 95% of the people out there, it's not even funny. But if you still want to go for more, the next thing we should turn our attention to after all those accounts is back to our 401k and now focus on getting our contribution limit up to the maximum allowable. Doing this will not only set yourself up beautifully for retirement, but it also reduces your taxable income for this year too. In 2023, you can contribute $22,500 to your 401k, a little more if you're over 50. So that's the ability to avoid paying tax on almost $23,000 worth of your salary and supercharge your retirement savings at the same time. Many 401k plans even have the option to automatically increase the percentage you contribute each year. So you can take advantage of that feature to slowly and gradually increase your contribution to the max at a rate that you barely even feel the change. And again, if you're worried about paying the taxes in retirement, just remember there are a variety of strategies out there to get the money out of your 401k tax-free for retirement. But that's a bit beyond what the scope of this video is going to be. So now we've really taken care of ourselves. We have set ourselves up for a golden retirement. And the next step, after taking care of yourself, we can start to turn our attention to others. And those of you that have kids and actually like them to some degree, probably want to at least help out with some of their college expenses. So that's why now we're going to turn our attention towards the 529 plan. Every state offers a 529, which is a dedicated college savings account for your children. But in addition to using the 529 to stock away some money for your kids' college, it also has some benefits for you. This may vary by state, but here in New York, where I live, I can deduct my contributions to a 529 plan from my state income tax return. So in addition for investing for kids' colleges, you also get a break on your state tax bill in some states. Now for years, some of the risk of putting money into a 529 plan is, well, What if my kid doesn't end up going to college? Or what if my kid is a football superstar and gets a full scholarship? And starting in 2024, a lot of that risk has been erased. That's because starting in 2024, they'll allow tax-free rollovers from a 529 plan into your child's Roth IRA. Now there's some rules and limits to that, obviously. The rollover contribution in any 1 year is still subject to the IRA guidelines, so that's likely to still be $6,500 in 2024. At least for now, there's a $35,000 lifetime cap on the amount you can roll over from a 529 to your child's Roth IRA, and the 529 has to have been open for at least 15 years, and the contributions have to be older than 5 years. So I wouldn't exactly use it as a plan to get money into your child's Roth IRA, but the option is there. So now what I've laid out so far will put you ahead of everybody out there. But we've focused heavily on setting ourselves up for the long term, setting ourselves up for the future, and trying to optimize our current tax bill along the way. But not every financial goal comes after the age of 60. And I'm sure all of us want some sum of money that we can access at any time penalty-free. So once you've got all your other bases covered, then it's time to turn to the taxable brokerage account. And this is so far down in our order of operations because it's pretty inefficient tax-wise. The money gets taxed in your paycheck before going into the account. Any dividends or interest you earn year to year have to pay tax on. And then you got to pay capital gains tax when you end up selling your investments to use the money. But there is something to be said for flexibility. So if you can't afford to max out every other account we've talked about today before getting yourself into a taxable brokerage account, that's okay. At the end of the day, you have to do what's right for you. Every one of our situations is different. And even though one approach may be slightly suboptimal, that doesn't mean it's completely wrong and is gonna throw away your future. So I hope you found this video useful. Give it a like down below if you did. Watch this one next if you're not sick of me yet. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.